My entitled brother took money out of my college fund to buy himself a car, so I reported him and got him arrested. I'm 19, worked since I was 15, saved $11,000 for college. My brother is 17, never worked a day in his life. Mom always said he had anxiety, couldn't handle a job. Meanwhile, I've been working doubles at Target just to afford community college next fall. Growing up, my brother got everything handed to him. When he was 14, he begged Mom for a PS5. We were behind on rent that month, but somehow she scraped together $600 for it. He played it for maybe 2 weeks. When I asked if I could use it, he said I'd have to pay him $20 an hour to touch it. Last year, I bought a used 2015 Honda Civic with my own money. $6,800 paid in full. My brother immediately started asking if he could borrow it. I said no every single time. He didn't even have his learner's permit yet. Last month, he started the campaign again. Said he needed my car more than me, that his friends were getting their licenses, and he looked pathetic showing up to hangouts in Mom's minivan. I told him no, I need it for work and college next fall. He threw his usual tantrum, locked himself in his room, wouldn't come out for dinner. Mom knocked on my door later that night and said I should reconsider, that it would mean so much to him. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. 3 weeks ago, I woke up at 6 a.m. for my opening shift. Went outside and my car was gone. Not in the driveway, not on the street. I called Mom immediately, and she sounded annoyed that I woke her up. She said my brother took it to the DMV for his driving test. I lost it. I never gave him permission to touch my car. She told me to calm down, that he'd be back in a few hours. I had to call my manager and tell her I couldn't get to work. She was pissed. It was the first time I'd ever missed a shift. My brother came back at 2 p.m., 4 hours late. He tossed my keys on the counter with this smug smile, said he failed the test because the instructor was a jerk. I was furious, but Mom just patted his shoulder and said he'd do better next time. I grabbed my keys and inspected my car. Nothing seemed wrong, so I let it go. That was my mistake. 2 days later, I went to transfer some money between accounts and noticed my savings balance looked off. I logged in fully and my heart dropped. $8,200 missing. Just gone. 3 separate withdrawals over the past week, all while I was at work. I ran downstairs shaking, confronted my brother first. He was on the couch playing his PS5. I asked him if he took money from my account. He didn't even look up from his game, just shrugged and said Mom signed off on it, that I owed him for all the rides I never gave him growing up. I turned to Mom. She avoided my eyes. Said my brother needed the money for something important and that I'd understand eventually. That's when it clicked. I asked what he spent it on. She said modifications. Modifications. To my car. I pulled up my bank statement and looked at the charges. $2,100 to a custom rim shop. $1,800 for window tinting and a full detail. $1,400 for an aftermarket sound system. $20,900 for a stage 2 performance exhaust and tune. He'd spent the entire day of his driving test, turning my reliable Honda into some wannabe street racer. While I was missing work, losing money, he was spending mine. I looked at both of them, didn't yell, didn't cry, just said okay, and went to my room. I heard Mom tell my brother that I'd get over it, that I always do. The next morning, I woke up early, drove straight to the police station before my shift, brought my registration, my insurance card, my bank statements showing the unauthorized withdrawals and screenshots of my brother's Instagram where he'd posted photos of his new setup. I filed a theft report against my own brother. The officer asked if I was sure. I said yes. 2 hours into my shift, my brother texted me. It was a photo of himself in an empty parking lot, my car surrounded by 6 of his friends. The caption said, "Saturdays are for the boys." I looked at the location tag, forwarded everything to the police. They found him 20 minutes later doing donuts in a grocery store parking lot, arrested him for reckless driving, unauthorized use of a vehicle, and driving without a valid license, towed my car. Mom called me sobbing, begging me to drop the charges, said I was ruining his life over a mistake. I said no. Some mistakes cost $8,200.